I am your complex and excitable storyteller, APGamingREAL. Some have described me as mysterious and eloquent. You may notice there is an imposter among us tonight. Normally, it is...
Red is sus. Vent him.
Yeah, agree. Actually, Adrian's name tag was originally red, but I didn't like the way it backshaded it. I couldn't find a color that worked really well there, so I just went with really dark black. Normally, when I do a show, we play a couple of test games with the cast in order to introduce a new member. We haven't played in like 3-4 weeks. So we didn't do that because I wanted to get back to it. This is our intern who will introduce himself. If he fails us, not only will he not be paid in any way, nor will he receive any course credit for his work here, but we will also never speak of him again and his character will disappear off the show, as happens. Please, intern, introduce yourself very briefly. We're doing very brief introductions because it's the season premiere.
Sure.
And I would just want to get in there and start playing because I haven't played Nero in so long.
All right. I'm Big Spoon, community member and all-around fanboy, now cast member. I'm a mod over on the MCDM Twitch channel, and I'm just, a big fan of AP's work here, and I'm glad to be a part of the show.
You're part of my new program.
Now that you're a cast member, do you drop the fan stuff, or like how does that work?
No, I mean, I think
you're an entertainer now.
I can be a fan of myself, right?
You're an interning entertainer. You're part of my new Simp to Stream program,
okay.
which I've been working on.
I'm the prototype.
Yeah.
You're talent now, Spoon. Talent.
Yeah.
Oh yes, thank you, James. Yeah.
Arthur, Simp to Stream. You need to copyright that shit.
I know, it's so good, and you'd hardly believe I invented it on the spot. Dave, speaking of Daves, let's talk to you. Dave,
what
are
up?
you?
Hi, I'm Dave. So there was one thing I wanted to talk about in the early show, but Arthur said he didn't want to discuss too much. But I just want to let everyone know I've taken it upon myself to actually go and learn Polish in a school. Like, I've gone back to school to learn a different language. And, I was thinking it would be a difficult process, but oh boy, I was 100% not prepared for what was going to go ahead and face me. Did you know the Polish language has 36 letters in the alphabet? 36. And there is 12 dialects or something like that, which basically mean when two of these new letters are together, they make new sounds that are unheard of in all of the languages that I've ever seen. On top of that, so there's 36 and then there's 12, and now there's also words that are written one way and spoken another way that is completely irrelevant to how they're actually written. So, for example, the number 3 in Polish, because everyone agrees universally that Polish language is a soft language, the word 3 is written too harshly. So they just ignore all of the previous rules that they had for writing this language and just said, no, we don't say it like that because that's too hard. So now it's a soft way of saying it that is written completely different to the way that it's actually written. So, get fucked.
You want to just use Duolingo to learn?
I mean, that Al stalking his ass.
Yeah, it does threaten you, but...
it's a fucking nightmare. Like, the other thing is, if you go from English to, say, I don't know, fucking Japanese or something like that, every single consonant and vowel you can read. Makes sense, right? Like, you see a word, you can sound out the syllables, you're good to go. And then it's just about learning other things to do with the language. But with Polish, fuck that shit. You're on your own. Learn a new alphabet. Has more letters than it needs to have. Good luck. It's stupid.
Definitely my favorite meme of this year was a screenshot of a phone push notification list with Duolingo see notification saying you missed your Spanish lesson.
Yeah.
You know what that means? And then like a second later, it's ADT alarm, intrude alert, back door.
I know which one you were talking about immediately. You got anything else, Dave?
Yeah, and I mean, like, things are going good. I mean, I'm going for my Polish permanent citizenship thing at the moment,
Awesome.
which is fun. Have you guys ever scanned and printed out your passport before? It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's like 50 fucking pages of colored printing. Oh god, it's so annoying.
Do you have to go up any previous citizenships, or can you maintain dual nationality with Polish?
It's not a citizenship. It's like a permanent residency. So it's not that I have to give up a previous residency, but thankfully it's not like China where if you get a citizenship in Poland, you're evicted from the other country. So as an Australian, I get to have as many citizenships as I wanted attached to my citizenship. So
they're like Pokemon gym badges.
You know what? Yes, that is a good way to describe it. Yeah, become the master of the world. When the world apocalypse happens, all the countries will be fighting to bring me back to their country. That's how it works.
Wow. I sure.
Also, I just passed my 3rd year wedding anniversary as well, so that's a good milestone. So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Remember when I got married 3 years ago? Yeah, I do. Fuck, man. We just started. We just started New Game Plus back then. That's how long ago that was.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
That's so long. Yeah.
And that's now my 2nd longest running show. Wow.
Yep. Yeah. So anyway, that's me.
Didn't New Game Plus start before? No, after Time of War? Total Time?
It did. Yeah. I mean, Time of Total Warfare is the longest running show. Period. End of story. That one's number 2.
How many episodes did we do of Edge of the Empire? I think it was like 50, right?
No, it ended up being somewhere in like the upper 30s, low 40s.
I thought it was close to about 48.
I thought it was real close to 50.
It was long. I mean, the number of shows I have around 50 is pretty long, pretty considerable. I mean, that's 2 seasons, 1 year ish. All right. Speaking of people doing intros, Pondo the Man.
I am Pondo, or Pondo the Man.
Are you? Wow.
Yeah. It's been an interesting couple of days. Had to go get Cotton to get a tooth pulled because it got infected.
Oh, I heard about that. Yes, that sounds awful in every way.
She got it pulled and actually felt better than she did before, so that's a plus.
Yeah. Yep.
And then today, before I was able to close work, a cheapo paint can got stuck and jammed up a shaker. So I had to open up a plate to the engine and try to unstuck it.
But nothing went wrong.
What went wrong was it got stuck in the shaker.
Sure. I just didn't want to hear that. Like you were like, I broke a $10,000 paint shaker with a 3/8 wrench.
First, I disengaged the safety, and then I started taking it apart.
No, I
didn't unplug it before I opened it.
Three killed in horrible paint mixing accident.
Yeah. It was not great. I couldn't help the customer. He has to come back later and I'll get his shit. But yeah. And that was my day, and now I'm here. I'm excited. It's been a while. So I also found out that it was 35 weeks in total for Edge of the Empire.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that high.
I thought it was closer to 50. Yeah.
No.
Man, but we must have played that game for fucking so long.
Yeah, there were long breaks. Because
I remember
that was one of our early long games. That's the thing. Like after that, we started doing long games, but after we'd done Edge of the Empires, it was totally normal. Welcome, friends. I've sworn off intros, especially weird intros for the most part. So let me say it's my mom's birthday. I know some of you in the audience like my mom better than you like me, so I'm sure you feel glad about that. I gave her several birthday presents, and she surprised me by, if you've seen on stream sometimes, when I go to close my camera or do anything, I have like a splinter that's been in my hand for about 20 years. She surprised me by using a kitchen knife to remove it. It was incredibly painful and probably not nearly as sanitary as it should have been.
How did she surprise you with the act of stabbing you? Like, did she
said, hey, come over here and show me your hand. And I said, okay. And then she pulled out a kitchen knife, and I was like, oh shit, what the hell is happening? And she started pricking away at the thing, and I won't describe what happened because it was disgusting. But yeah, it was shocking to me. Yeah.
How long was it stuck in your hand?
20 years.
How deep was that splinter?
Deep enough to require a very sharp knife and several minutes of me going, ah, ooh, ah.
So usually if a splinter annoys the shit out of me, I cut it out.
Yeah, I must have got this when I was really young, and I just never did anything about it. But lately it's been starting to get irritated, so.
That reminds me of that. So when I broke my ankle, I did severe nerve damage to my foot as well, and for like several months after I got all of that stuff happened, I stepped on something and it went into my foot, and I had no idea about it because I feel no pain in that foot completely. To the point one day where it was like awkward to walk on because it was like rolling. My foot was like rolling because it was not flat anymore. I'm like, well, that's weird. Wonder why that's happening. Look at the bottom of my foot. There's like a stick like this inside of my heel.
Ouch.
Yeah. As a kid, I once tried to balance on a nail unsuccessfully. It went right through my foot.
Great. Excellent.
Oh,
all right. We're done with this conversation. You know, speaking of intros, Grimdark James, not only are your intros last, but I've strategically positioned you so that you can segue into the beginning of the episode whenever you feel like. So please, take your time. Do whatever you want.
All right, no worries. I am Grimdark James, although, as I'll explain in a second, I am considering dropping the Grimdark moniker for something else at some point soon. I'll come back to that. But I want to quickly say as well...
listen, there are a lot of people on the internet named James. You're going to need something with some spice, some pizzazz.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure McDonald's doesn't use Grimace anymore, so you could use that, right?
I could
Grimace James.
That fat purple thing. Yeah, that's right. I want to quickly acknowledge, since you brought it up on BattleTech, Arthur, as well, since you're talking about getting out there to make sure you vote, that New Zealand had its election yesterday, and it was a landslide victory for the
Jacinda,
party.
Yeah, she did amazing.
Which is the Democrat equivalent party, the Progressives Party, basically. So it was the biggest win that any party has had in New Zealand since the current political system came into existence.
I mean, who knew that if you managed a pandemic well, you would get reelected?
So I just want to correct you on one thing, James. I will say that my crazy Thursday intro, I encouraged people not to vote if they haven't made a decision.
Correct,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, New Zealand, you had to vote, right? So they kind of didn't have a choice.
Well,
no,
listen, if you were in New Zealand, you
voting.
should have and almost certainly did vote. But if you're in America and you haven't made a decision yet, don't vote. That's my second intro.
So you can opt out of voting. It's not like you're born, therefore you have to vote.
You must vote from the time you are born. You must use a rubber stamp and decide which candidate
Are you
wish.
talking about Australia, or are you talking about what, Dave?
Oh, and Zach, they're
yeah.
basically one government, right?
No,
they're
so
right next to each other.
New Zealand hasn't got compulsory voting. Australia does, but in Australia, the law is you must turn up to vote. You must turn up and be counted by the pollers. You can take the bit of paper that you've been put in the bin and walk out, and you won't be in trouble for that. But you have to turn up to vote.
Well, I mean,
Sure, that happens in America too. We just say the word present, and it makes people feel better.
That's it.
So from what I remember, because it's been a while for me, if you don't elect to participate in government-related things like having a tax file number or all that sort of shit, you're not required to vote. So
yeah, you have to enroll to vote. You can. There's no penalty for not enrolling to vote. So
yeah. So yeah.
But now,
as an 18-year-old, it's like. Yeah.
Yeah, they changed it now so that having a driver's license, it automatically enrolls you, though, I believe, now. So, anyway,
That's
The
fine.
other thing I wanted to say
Yeah.
just quickly was so yesterday I helped a friend move house, so I'm a bit sore. But one of the other people that helped move house was my podcast co-host, and I was driving him around because he can't drive, so I picked him up and took him to the moving thing, and we had to do 2 trips, and the house is 80 miles from his old house, so
Jiminy
it was
Christmas.
like an hour and a half each way on the freeway. And we did 2 trips, but I had like 6 hours in the car with my podcast co-host, and we were talking about the fact that we haven't podcasted in a while because my computer died, and the last episode we recorded we lost because of the computer dying, and we decided to have a bit of a reset, and so we want to actually go and do a new podcast that is not specifically 40k RPG focused, but more general RPG stuff, because we've both been playing since the 80s. So we want to sort of, have a few system retrospectives, look at new systems. So we're going to do more of a generic tabletop role-playing podcast.
Do Cyberpunk Red versus Cyberpunk 2020.
Yeah,
Generic James. That's his new call sign.
James, that's it. So my co-host, his favorite role-playing system is Cyberpunk 2020. So I told him about how I managed to shoot myself in the head, while executing an unconscious person. And he,
oh my God, I completely forgot about it.
It was interesting.
Yep. But in any case, so that's you heard it here first. Literally from our conversation yesterday to this stream is the first I've mentioned this. So
Wow,
that's
awesome.
That's what I'm working on.
So Pondo, you had a weird reaction to how far the distance is in Australia. That's pretty normal. In Australia, things are spaced out like really fucking far from each other. So I'm not surprised you had to drive that far, to be honest with you.
That's about like the distance from here to here from North Platte to Kearney, Nebraska, which is about not 80 miles.
He
it's
could
almost like
literally
100
in that time frame, he could drive from one side of Poland to the other. Like that's how small most countries in Europe are compared to how far it is in Australia to get anywhere.
I'm just surprised the very far move and how much a pain in the ass that would be.
That's right. In America, 100 years is a long time, but 100 miles is a short distance. In Europe, 100 years is a short time, but 100 miles is a long distance.
Wow, so wise.
that's what you come here for. That sort of. And I also need to observe, by the way.
Wise James. Oh my God.
Ooh, wow, I like that.
I need to observe before we start as well that I think Eric Vulgaris is currently hosting a Mech Warrior Online party right now.
In my Discord, yes. That's totally normal there now. Yeah.
That's it. So
Spoon would be there if he wasn't on the show.
I jumped in there to say hello, and people are like, "Oh, what are you up to today?" I'm like, "I'm running Rogue Trader." I was like, "Oh, that's right. Oh, well, we're playing Mech Warrior now, so we'll watch it later." So,
listen, that's what YouTube is for. That's what it was invented for. This little thing.
That is true.
That's because YouTube came after Twitch. That's the way it works.
Is there a new Mech Warrior game that I'm not aware of?
No, just they all drank the Kool-Aid at the same time for Mech Warrior Online.
So I'm just saying, Arthur, watch out for that Eric Vulgaris.
It's just like Sea of Thieves, man.
He's a
one
usurper.
person. Listen, I've usurped plenty of people on Burning Crowns. Now it's time for him to do some usurping on my channel. Maybe usurp some Oath of Endosteel. Who knows?
He's good. I've been watching his Pendragon campaign, so I have a lot of fun with that too. So
yeah, he's working on his own BattleTech version of Mech Dragon. My Mech Dragon.
Grimwise James, I have a question for you.
Yep.
What do you think about a gacha game but with Warhammer characters? There's enough of the fucking things out there.
Yeah, look, there are a couple already. They're not because the thing is, like, Games Workshop gives their license to anybody. So there's like the Deathwatch Kill Team gotcha game, where you have 5-star Deathwatch Marines and 4-star Deathwatch Marines, and
you just need to make them all females. That's how you get.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's probably the one thing holding Games Workshop back. They had the one computer game that was I think Warhammer 40K Carnage that had a Sister of Battle as a playable character, and that game flopped hard.
There was also that. There was one game that had a 4-player horde survival mode where you could play as like a towel lady or something.
I
don't
believe
know,
that was
some alien.
the last stand of the Dawn of War 2
Yeah.
games, I think.
I love that mode. That was the only
was
mode
super
I
good.
played in that game. I didn't understand anything. I just played that alien lady, and I was like, "Yeah, man, shields for everyone. Let's go." You know, that's.
Was it Shadow Sun? I
Sorry.
don't remember.
It might have been.
Okay.
It was some girl with like, she had like sort of darkish skin. She looked like an elf, and I was like, "Sweet, whatever, doesn't matter."
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about everyone's favorite.
Yeah, would have been
waifu.
hmm Probably the Farseer.
Yep. Taldir. It's Farseer Taldir. All right. So let's get into some playing. So welcome to the first session of the second season of Rogue Trader, Tide of Iron. So I am not going to do a recap here. This is going to be one of the second seasons that starts off without just spending the first 10 minutes recapping season 1. If you want to get a recap of season 1, go back and watch the first 10 minutes of the last episode of season 2, where we recap season 1 at the start of that. So we open on a space field as usual, when we see the purplish hole of a warp gate being torn open in reality, and the Hand of Calixis comes into view as it exits the warp. A moment later, the warp gate expands, and a second ship, the flat-nosed Lathe-class cruiser, the Eternal Praetorian, which we last saw partway through season 1, trapped in a gravitational field, emerges from the warp, trailing the Hand of Calixis. And as the camera rotates around, we see they are both heading towards a white snow-covered planet. The ticker at the bottom of the screen comes up saying Sephira Secundus, Calixis sector. Then we cut inside the vessel, and we see Dawn, Sister Dawn, walking through the halls of the ship with a purpose, as though going somewhere. She turns to the doorway and opens the door, and inside we see Nero, dressed as Nero does, like not in like, you know, going into battle gear of power armor. But
Oh no,
like
listen, there's a new Nero now.
Okay, so tell us about the new Nero. I want to know about Nero's default costume now, please.
His new idol costume. All right, so he shaved his head and he's super jacked now. Like he has been like weightlifting and doing all sorts of like bodybuilding stuff. So his arms and chest and legs are just getting bigger and bigger. But he's wearing like a wife beater, and we can see he's got a new throat tattoo that says the last word on it on the front and back of him. And he's just walking around with his new jacked arms, just like, "Yep, I'm so jacked right now." All right, please continue.
I thought you were gonna say the neck tattoo said, "I lift for the God Emperor." Like,
no, but that's a good one. I'll think about it. Please continue, James.
And so how does Dawn? So 3 months have passed roughly since we last saw our hero. So has Dawn changed, or is her appearance the same as before? Or is there with a higher budget, has season 2 Dawn got a different outlook?
They got a real costume designer.
So if season 1 Dawn was like fresh out of the Abbey, right? Season 2 Dawn is literally like more battle worn. I think she definitely has a lot more like she probably has like some sort of face scar a little bit going on now, most likely, to the point where she's sort of like tisks when she comes into the room, and she basically says like, "Nero, those muscles are just completely unnecessary, and if anything, you're just going for a physical look to intimidate, and it's not going to work. No one's going to believe that shit. Are you even any stronger?" I wouldn't think so.
Oh, so much stronger, Don.
So the other person in the room is Sister Miriam, who hasn't changed a lot. She still looks in her same, still wears the same costume and wimple, and she looks relieved as Dawn arrives. Nearby her is her manservant, Peck, which is not the same Peck as we last saw. She has a new Peck 3 months on. No, it's not even the same. She had a different person.
Oh, now we've been double pecked. All right.
Yeah, double. That's right. Yeah. She also has like a crate with her, which seems to be open and filled with what looks like clothing of various types. And she turns to Dawn. Thank the God Emperor you're here. I'm trying to convince Master Bullet here that he needs to dress appropriately to meet with a queen. Maybe he'll listen to you.
What were you going to wear, Nero? And please don't tell me you were just going to show up in that normal ragtag shit that you normally wear.
So Nero pulls out a I Heart the Lord Captain t-shirt from behind his back. He's had it like bulged into the back of his waistline and pulls it out, and he's just like, no, I'm just messing with all of you. I'm sure you can find something nice for me to wear, Miriam. So I think as he's getting fitted, Nero's just like, how's that new driver been working out for you, Don? What was his name again? Wally? I really liked him.
His name is Wallace. And
yes,
he sort of like appears around the corner.
But he said to call him Wally. Wally Templin. And like I see him and I'm just like, what's up, Wally?
It's like, can you make sure that this man actually wears something appropriate?
Are you asking?
I also like to imagine. Yeah, I also like the idea that Wallace is like becoming more like less military and more like
piratey.
What's the word?
Freeloader, freebooter.
He's got like probably more ceremonial robe.
You're religiousifying him. You're turning him into a cultist.
I mean, I think he's sort of adopted that more than anything. I'm not sure whether or not I want him, if he's taken on the task of becoming a part of the Order of the Flame, but he's probably less bodyguard and more like ceremonial assistant at this point, I think.
So Nero's going to turn to Miriam and say, look, Miriam, I'm sorry. I was messing with you a little bit. I'm very nervous, and humor is my defense mechanism when I'm not allowed to kill things randomly. I've been working out a lot lately, just so much. I'm trying to get some bulging.
How we know that you've been working out, Nero? Because you won't shut up about the fact that you're working out so much, okay? Yes, we know you do CrossFit. Yes, we know that you lift. Can you stop talking about it, please?
None of my old nice clothes fit me, and they were barely good enough to sit down for dinner with the Lord Captain. And now we're going to be meeting a queen who's also an imperial governor. Maybe I could have a child analog out of this. I understand that the procedure will be very painful. Also, the Lord Captain is going to be doing some intense negotiation with words I probably won't understand and try to sell me off, apparently. So I just want to look my best and look, where I come from, you just wear dark black clothing and you kind of just look at people kind of...
How many queens do you have where you come from?
Well, Cadia doesn't really have queens. We've got like a double
my point exactly
ruler type of thing.
So
we've got like a main guy, and then we got like a backup guy. So if the main guy dies, the backup guy immediately takes over. It's a little complicated. Cadia's a backwater. No one really has heard of it anyway. It's just a small little planet in the middle of nowhere.
Anyway, I turn to Wallace. I'm just like, just make sure you brush his hair or some shit. I don't know. Wait, you said you're bald now, right? Like
no, he shaved it down to like buzz cut level.
Okay, just clean it up. I don't know. Make him look like a respectable person, someone that the clergy would not look down their nose at.
I am a respectable person.
Miriam, it was good to see you.
Wow. we cut to a different scene, thus sparing the audience from a pretty ugly girl makeover montage.
Hop in, bitch. We're going shopping.
And we now find ourselves on the bridge at the Hand of Calixis, where the Lord Captain is in his command throne. And through the open view screen, we can see the ship is now pulling into an orbital position above this snow-covered planet. There's another ship in view as well, other than the Eternal Praetorian. It's a Cobra-class destroyer. Its markings appear to be just a free trader ship. It has no particular family markings nor military markings. But the High Factotum, in fact, whose name I have down here again, is Laxandro Van Heppel, is approaching the Lord Captain's throne, along with a data slate with information. Lord Captain, we have received orbital clearance from the planet below. Also, the Imperial naval ship, the Veiled Intent, is also in orbit. They are carrying the new captain for the Eternal Praetorian, and also the new Master Helmsman that will be joining our ship.
Excellent. I think like this entire time, Pierre's been like going through different like the admiral hats.
Ooh, do you have like one of those beards from like the Hunger Games where they do like the weird shit in the beard? Like, is that your new change, or do you have something else going on?
No, Pierre doesn't have a beard.
Pierre didn't update. He's getting his premium skin though, right now.
Yeah.
I like the idea that you start the season with the beard, but you're in the middle of getting it like shaved off right now. You know, like back to how it was in season 1.
He's getting his 4-star limited time
Like,
event upgrade.
You get a tease of the new skin, and then just kind of take it away from you.
I feel like he's going from like the standard like French style Napoleonic hat to like a three-peak
tricorn. Yeah. I'm seeing a tricorn as well.
Do they have feathers in 40K universe? Do they even have birds in 4K
Absolutely.
universe?
Oh yeah. Listen, we fought a giant super bird in Wrath and Glory.
I recall that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was terrifying.
Maybe it's just one giant feather. That's his hat now. It's just like a big feather.
We fought a super bird. I don't remember the bird. I
Yeah,
remember a giant alien.
it was outside of the apartment of the main bad Dark Inquisition dude.
It was like a giant.
Yeah, it was like
Tyranid, wasn't it?
No, well, it was a super mutated
Oh, okay.
super bird. I think as the camera is following the Lord Captain, it continues to pan around, and we see that by the Lord Captain's antechamber, there's a poster there that says, "Schedule meetings appropriately." It's like a demotivational poster of a kitten hanging on a branch over a river. At the bottom is signed Nero.
Okay, with a little asterisk on the bottom, it says, "Don't waste Nero's time." Like,
I got to say, I have worked for a company in the past which did use demotivational posters in certain countries. I remember seeing a poster which said, you know, I choose to follow the rules because I like to keep my job. You know, like, that was literally the poster in the office.
That would be a Nero poster for sure.
So Van Heppel continues. I have been in contact with the planet as we were coming here. We've organized to take on about 100,000 megaliters of meltwater that we can transport to Icanthus, make this a trade journey as well as whatever it is that you wanted to do.
Excellent. Good work.
So that will probably take us a couple of days to load all that water into our holds.
is megaliters actually the term they use?
Yeah, I mean, megaliters exist, so it's like the next.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's what?
Just wait until someone tells them about megameters.
I mean, I just thought that at that point you would go to weight rather than liters if it's that much, you know? Like...
That's not how it works, but okay.
Oh, 1 liter is 1 kilogram, so anyway, they're organizing that. So
I mean,
I've also received
that's mass, not weight, right?
Sorry. Well, so in terms of water, 1 liter is 1 kilo. So.
All right, you know what? I will buy that. That is technically true because of its specific gravity or whatever.
Yeah. So we've also received word from the planetary governor that she is ready to receive your party when you wish. She wanted to know whether she should send a shuttle up or whether you will bring one down.
We'll bring one down.
Right. She sent us coordinates for where to bring the shuttle in.
Okay.
I think that Master Nero is getting ready right now. Now, just quickly, we should maybe have a guard of honor for our outgoing helmsman.
Absolutely. Get the best
So
looking ones.
Just for your benefit, what's been organized is because you needed a new captain for the Eternal Praetorian, but also because the Praetorian means that you no longer need to rely upon Mistress Charlebel's services to run transport off your worlds. In order to keep the friendship going between your houses, you have appointed one of her younger cousins who has Imperial Navy experience as the captain of the Praetorian. And so you're meeting her here. She's actually been, although she remains a member of the Arch-Militant family, she has been serving with the Navy. And so she's coming aboard from the Veiled Intent. But also you've moved some of your key crew from the
Hand of Calixis
over to the Praetorian to make sure that the culture is maintained. And likewise, because she has a pilot that she knows and trusts from her Battlefleet days, she has basically brought that helmsman, or she plans to be that helmsman aboard your ship so that you have someone on your ship who knows how she works. And if your ships need to go into battle together, you know, that there's that sort of cross-pollination of information. So you don't know much about this helmsman that she plans to bring, but apparently
I'm sure he'll be interrogated immediately by Nero.
That's right.
How many eye patches does he have? That's the important thing. Yeah.
If it's more than one, I'll be concerned.
One for
This
each
is from
eye.
a man who has more pistols than he has hands.
I mean, I can see a
Obviously, when I
character
run out
in
of
40K with different style eye patches for the occasion.
Oh my! Listen, Pame, I want this to happen. I want a hidden holster in your new hat that hides a pistol.
Is there a
one will-
Derringer
Wild Wild
equivalent in
West?
this
No
system?
one will ever
Yeah,
suspect.
like the extended arm Derringer sort
on
of
like a
thing going
cuckoo.
out.
Yeah. I want to have this happen.
I have been thinking about trying to work with James and getting like different cane variations of pistols, like how there's the bolter cane,
Oh, yes,
like
like
a
a
las
las
cane.
cane, melter cane.
plasma cane.
A Derringer version of the cane, which is literally just like a really shitty
realistically speaking,
sniper
that's what
rifle.
digital weapons are. Digital weapons are exactly what you want, and they're less ubiquitous than a cane because they are rings basically.
The
Are
Get
they
Smart
like-
shoe, but it's a bolter pistol.
So digital weapons, is it like card light side type of deal? Like, does it feel like I actually have it physically?
No, so it's the size and weight of a regular ring,
Yeah.
but it has a one shot either melter, plasma, or las.
Oh, okay.
They're just super, like they're super miniaturized weapons.
Yeah.
Yes, but I want that in a cane.
Yeah. So in the 40K universe, there's a race called Jaquero, which are an authorized Xenos race. They look sort of like orange-furred orangutans. They have no verbal communication. They appear to like live in an animal-like culture, but when you give them technology, they just improve it. They just pull it apart and improve it. They miniaturize it. They add things to it. But they don't seem to have any sort of technology in their own society. They're this sort of unexplained Xenos race that Inquisitors or that keep around because they can just make stuff better.
I want some.
Yeah.
Want to miniaturize everything on this ship so we can make more space.
We have this printing press. Can you make cooler T-shirts?
No,
So,
but we
I
can do
need this
hoodies now.
printing press to take less space, to be more efficient, so that way I can have more of these.
Yes, we invented the V-neck. What is up?
So we have a scene where the outbound helmsman, who's never been named before, he's only ever sort of been seen on like the side of the camera in like sweeping bridge shots, sort of stands up, and like so do all the other bridge crew, and they all sort of form a guard of honor and clap him as he is walking away from his station towards the Lord Captain who's standing before his throne. You know, no one knows. The audience has no idea who this person is, but apparently he's important to the crew. And,
It's like the anime protagonist with the hair that covers his
no,
eyes,
he's
so
our
you can't,
big
like-
Starklighter. He's been cut out of the storyline.
That's right. There were some deleted scenes where this guy did some cool stuff previously. But,
Yeah, he had like 2 speaking lines, but they got cut.
Yes, it's
They
he
reference
stands in
him
front of
constantly in the novels.
He's the Dash Rendar of this universe.
Oh, please no, not Dash Rendar.
He stands before you and salutes. Lord Captain, permission to depart the ship.
Permission
On your
granted.
assignment. Thank you. And Lexandra says the shuttle from the Veiled Intent is coming aboard now. If you want to meet with the new captain and your new helmsman.
Absolutely.
So as we see sweeping shots of Pierre walking through the corridor, or being driven through the corridors down towards the landing bay, everything seems a bit more schmick in the Hand of Calixis. Like the crew move with new purpose. You know, the corridors seem somehow cleaner. You know, the uniforms seem more pressed. There's just this air of professionalism which seems to have pervaded the ship now that wasn't quite there with the previous sort of crew which had been built up over time from the past crew and the new crew. Just it seems it somehow reflects the fact they've gotten roughly 30% better than they were previously.
Well, they had their anime moment with the Xenos space battle, so they should.
Yeah.
have
That
gotten
is
better.
true. That is true. Yeah.
They discovered a new power deep within themselves.
Yeah, it's called companionship.
Yeah. And there is there's some
I have more
announcement.
friends.
There is some announcement over the ship's intercom about the departing helmsman. You know that the crew owe their thanks to, and like somebody's talking over the announcement at the exact moment his name is said.
Wow, James, you're really
like-
sticking to this one. Incredible.
I did name him. I was just
No, please, no. Listen, this is so much better.
okay. No worries. Yeah. Anyway, there's an announcement for the whole crew to recognize the heroic work of and so the heroic of Lord Captain. We're pulling into the loading bay now, and you see a naval shuttle has landed, so it bears all the seagulls of Battlefleet Calixis. So would you bring anyone else to this meeting other than so right now it's just yourself and the high factotum, but would you have any other senior crew attend the meeting or attend the greeting of this person? I'd say that you would have like your own standard bodyguards here as well, other than Nero, unless you want him here.
I mean, Nero Don would probably have. Oh, I'm blanking on her name completely. The navigator.
Riani?
Yeah, there you go. Riani.
Yeah. So presumably Nero's turned up, like he's come from his fitting, so he's not actually wearing the clothes he's going to wear, but he's had to hastily put his own uniform back on again.
And
Oh, no,
specifically,
no.
the sleeve is busting out.
No, Nero shows up in combat armor to welcome the new, possibly suspicious potential traitor.
Okay, no worries.
I was gonna think for a moment. I thought that maybe new Nero would be like the tank top hero from One Punch Man.
No.
Like a series of different tank tops. that he
I
wears.
need combat armor or I'll die.
All right. So you need to have the shoulder gun which tracks anyone that you're talking to, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. And it's got all them vision modes. Check their like pulse by looking at their heat and their blood. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So 2 figures come down the ramp of the shuttle. The first one is a young woman who definitely bears a familiar resemblance to Charlotte Armelin. So the main difference is that where Charlotte is a blonde, this woman has raven black straight hair. She's very short, so she's like 5'4", and she has the sort of pale skin that you would expect of someone that spent most of their life aboard ships. She is wearing like an Imperial naval uniform that designates her rank as a naval captain. She doesn't have a lot of medals. In fact, you can give me a common law war roll, Arthur, at +20.
Okay. Let me see if I can I can roll without messing up. It's been so long. Oh yeah, I have a plus 20 to it already. So top of that, you succeed by 5.9 degrees of success.
Okay, so
Amazing.
you recognize
So
that
good.
the medals she has are all campaign medals. They're all medals for being a part of this military action, but no sort of like, no actual meritorious
Personal
awards.
heroism or anything like that.
No, it's
Okay.
all just you were there. You served during this campaign, therefore you get the medal for this campaign.
I
Participation.
love the
award.
idea that Nero's eyes sort of do the squint, and then it zooms in and it does the Fight Club scene where it like points out like all the objects and what their names are, sort of thing, and how much you can purchase them on the black market and how cheap they are.
But she has a sort of stern look about her, and she does have like a naval las pistol on her belt as well.
Nero will offer some amount of respect.
Yep. And the other figure behind her looks like someone that Big Spoon's about to describe.
Yeah, so he would be significantly taller than her. He's 6 foot even, clean cut, clean shaven. He also has the pale skin of someone who was, born aboard a void ship. He's wearing, a pressed naval blue uniform, and on the belt he's got a bolt pistol and power sword. But then I imagine he sets it down at like the bottom of the ramp. There is a large like bag full of belongings and such stuff like that, along with a melta-gun like tied to the outside of it. And when they come to a stop, like his heels click to attention, and he waits for her to start talking.
Okay. And by the way, she looks to be like maybe early 20s. Like her commission is obviously a bought commission more so than something. She hasn't started as a naval rating and worked her way up.
Yeah, but that's normal for someone who would be like a cousin of an Arch-Militant.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Adrian's probably a little bit older because his family doesn't quite wield as much influence.
Nero gives you a look over. 2 questions. How dangerous do you look, and how jacked are you?
Do you
This is
live for the
important
God
now.
Emperor, bro?
Yeah. Do you lift for?
Do you even lift is the question, I think.
So we're going to get a Arnold and what's his name? From
Yeah.
Predator.
Look. I'm trying to set that up. Yeah.
So he's not nearly as jacked as Nero is, but he's definitely got some mass, and I don't know how dangerous he looks, but like the power sword and bolt pistol obviously have been used to good effect.
He's got a pretty high agility, so would you say he's like wiry?
Yeah, like he's kind of like a leaner, like swimmer's build type. But there's still some muscle underneath there.
So more Spider-Man, less Captain America.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Arthur, what is your strength score? Just curious.
Nero's strength score is 45.
Okay.
This muscles thing is because I'm 400 XP away from taking bulging biceps, which means I no longer need to brace heavy weapons.
Yeah, we don't want to just suddenly like flick a switch one day and suddenly he looks twice as large. And it's
This is why I was
We're working up
hinting
to it.
at several things last season, like Nero is studying to become stealthier and close-range murderier and silent, because at some point he will become those things. But I don't just want to show up and be like, oh, hey, Lord Captain, yesterday I learned how to transverse the universe silently. Not only do I know how to hide myself, I know how to hide your ship in space. In completely blank and empty space, I can make it disappear. Because that's a thing I'm going to be able to do eventually.
Something, bulging biceps can disappear inside of the smaller shadow.
Yes.
So you're an 80s action star.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger slowly emerges out of a deep shadow.
Yeah, it's not. I recently watched Escape from New York, and now I'm just going to compare everything to 80s action movie because now I'm all
Snake Plissken.
yeah.
No, my name is Iroquois Pliskin. Okay, it's totally different.
Anaconda Pliskin.
Oh my god, that fucking that twist! I hated it so much. Anyway,
Lord Captain, I've reporting to your command.
Yes, welcome. Pleasure to have you aboard. Well, aboard the Internal Praetorium.
My papers. She hands you like a data slate.
I'll look the data slate over.
Oh, it's effectively her military record.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it looks like some exciting reading.
Anything of major note as like a decent glance.
So effectively, from what you can see, so the ship she's been operating, the Veiled Intent, is effectively like it's a honeypot. So it's disguised as a merchant vessel, and it's designed to attract pirates.
It's a Q ship.
It's a Q ship.
It's Q ship. Yeah, it's got more teeth than it looks like, basically. And what's more, it can easily outmaneuver most other ships.
The Veiled Intent is such a great name for that, but it gives it away immediately.
Yeah, but it's not like it's broadcasting out on its IFF.
Sure, I get it. Wow, incredible name.
Just like a decent amount of combat experience, any at all?
Yeah, so her combat experience is largely against Wolfpack raiders, so effectively pirate raiders. So it's not a career of glory; it's a career of duty, of service as such. So she's always done what was expected when it was expected, and has kept the ship going, and has brought many pirate ships to heel, but has never been particularly meritoriously recognized because of no major fleet actions. She just serves inside in like a patrol group and does her job. So, but does certainly, like, to that being said, the Eternal Praetorian is a very different ship to what the Veiled Intent looks like. The Veiled Intent is a small, fast, upgunned destroyer. She's now going to be commanding a slow, ponderous exploration cruiser. So,
how mad she must be.
I mean, look, it's hard. It's hard to go from like being like in a PT boat to being like the captain of a
destroyer or a cruiser.
A destroyer, but still, I mean, but at the end of the day, it's still a jump up. It's still a major increase. At the end of the day, she's that far away from the head of her line that she has no chance of inheriting the road trader position. So all she's going to do is plan her family to get good postings, and this is a pretty good posting. It's just different from her current one. This is my master helmsman, Adrian Thorne. As I discussed with your high factotum, I think he would serve very well aboard this vessel. I think his knowledge of small light vessel tactics would be of great benefit to you.
And like Adrian will salute and step forward. Lord Captain.
She also hands you his papers on another data slate.
Okay. And he'll glance through his. Obviously, his is more hands-on.
Anything that that the audience should see, things of note in your background that the camera quickly glances over,
So the main thing is a long patrol engagement where one of the ships turned traitor and opened fire on the other ships of the patrol, and there's a basic merit for service under fire and being wounded in combat.
Right. So I think it was heretics aboard the other ship, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that co-opted the other ship. Yeah. So it does classify as engagement against the arch enemy.
Does Nero get a chance to look at this?
I'm sure you would. Okay. In fact, probably this information was sent to you beforehand. So she's fought pirates. He's fought heretics. They're both pretty much,
Nero does have hatred pirates, hatred heretics. The only thing he hates more than the two of those is orcs.
Yeah.
All right.
Or a heretic pirate.
So Nero will offer a hand with his fingerless glove battle gauntlets.
Adrian to use his tablet with,
Adrian will take it. Shake it.
Thorn, it would be good to have someone aboard with your level of experience at flying.
I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to serving with the crew.
Lord Captain, I'm keen to explore my new command. Is there other things that you need from me here, or should I go aboard the Praetorian?
You may go ahead and report to the Praetorium. I have no need.
She salutes. I look forward to working with you.
I look forward to working with you.
She returns to her vessel and she wishes, like, she actually stops to wish you well, Adrian, as well. She says, good luck, and if you serve him as well as you serve me, I'm sure that you'll have a long career aboard this vessel.
Good luck with your new command.
And so she heads off, and at the same time you see, unnamed helmsman go
Nero
aboard her
stops
shuttle.
and salutes as he's getting on the shuttle and holds it until he's on the shuttle.
That's right, yeah. And like
a single tear comes down his eye as Nero whispers, "That son of a bitch."
No, you say his name, but Dawn coughs at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like,
you've got big shoes to fill, Thorn.
All right, so Nero will gesture for the three of us to get in the golf cart. And then he turns and looks at Adrian and looks at the Lord Captain and says, "Is he going to be joining us, Lord Captain, or are we going to, traditional hazing? And, we don't really meet up with most of the bridge crew members, but he is somewhat competent."
I believe he's one of us, but I mean, if you want to haze him. I don't mind.
Well,
the other thing is that you've got to head to the planet soon, and although he's Master Helmsman, you could check out his skills by piloting a shuttle.
Oh, that's
as well.
true. Yes, with that guy standing next to us. Thank you, Wally.
Don's just like, speak when spoken to.
All right, Adrian, you can fly us down to the planet.
I can.
Lord Captain, I need to go speak to the High Factotum and to the Master of Whispers, if you'll excuse me. And so Nero gets out of the golf cart and starts walking away.
Well, Wally jumps into the driver's seat then. So.
Oh no! I turn around. And I'm just like, Wally, it's my golf cart. You have your own. Don't touch mine.
Wally, drive the golf cart for us, please.
Well, he gets a different golf cart. There are multiple golf carts in this.
No, Nero lets it happen.
I'll have him drive the golf cart.
Nero has a very specific golf cart, but he lets Wally drive this. He's just like, "Don't do it," but then he lets him do it.
I mean,
we love Wally. He's a lovable scamp.
Scratch.
Yeah,
not a scratch.
Pierre's not going to get up to get into another golf cart, so he's going to drive it regardless. I'm already in this golf cart. I don't give a damn if it's Nero thinks it's his or not.
What is Adrian's last name? Sorry?
Thorn.
Thorn. Mr. Thorn, feel free to join us if you like.
Thank you. And he loads his stuff into the back of the golf cart and takes a seat.
It is a pleasure to meet you, by the way. My name is Sister Confessor Dawn of the Cleansing Flame.
A pleasure, Sister Dawn.
That's a very long title.
Yeah, I'm the Navis. I can't remember call it now. The warp guide. Riani Zantai. There's a tall, sort of oddly moving woman in the seat next to you.
I can nod and
yep.
Exchange pleasantries.
Yep. So, should we do? Well, let's do Nero first. So, Nero, Van Heppel was there, so you grabbed Van Heppel, and who else do you want to catch up with?
Noco Coral.
Oh yes, okay. So this happens in a room somewhere aboard the ship that is,
Well, probably adjacent, like some sort of managerial office.
Okay.
Nice. And Nero says, "I've called you both here today because while we are on Sephira Secundus, we will have some time, and I would like you two to do some research within the Imperium."
Yes. That's from Carl.
Yeah. We need to gain more information about the Esheker class ship Esheker and its sister ships.
These are the ships that
Trade
Bastille
Admiral
was...
Saul.
No, Saul was looking for.
Yes. I believe that within the Imperium we can at least gain some records that we wouldn't have access to in the Koronus Expanse.
Very well. I may come to the planet service with you then as well. If I may ask around what the people down here know, and perhaps Alexandro, if you might want to review official records. He sort of shrugs and says, "I can look into it."
Got a game master have a conversation with himself. Yes.
Plenty of times. Come on.
Sorry.
You can't have an ensemble cast without having that happen.
Perfect. I mean, look, season 2 made it happen within 1 hour.
So they agree. They're happy with those instructions.
I say, all right. Obviously, I shouldn't be giving you orders, High Factotum, but if you could step out, I need to speak with Noko.
Oh, yes, I have other things to be doing. So
of course, yes, you have a very important and useful job. I
have
admire your work ethic.
I have a lot of water to get on board.
Wow, that sounds so exciting. Have fun.
I'm the master of fluids.
Okay, that means double coming from Dave. So then I'm gonna like slam a fist against the wall as soon as the guy's out, and I go, Noko, what is the status of a cover-up? Do we think that the Inquisitor suspected anything?
If he I don't believe he did. He gave no indication that he did. The crew is confident with the information that they've been given. As far as they're concerned, we were betrayed by the Xenos, and it destroyed the planet in its actions. We attempted to stop it, but its power was something we hadn't met before.
Everything you just said is technically what happened, just not in the order you said it in. I am holding you responsible for this one, Noko.
The best falsehoods are built on the truth.
Good. Make sure that it stays that way.
Yes. Anyone that could say otherwise has been already dealt with.
Like, what kind of dealt with are we talking about?
They're reassigned.
To, like...
servitor duty.
Ah.
That's a hell of a reassignment.
Yes.
And also working under the master of fluids.
Wow.
Ivy was very helpful in the matter.
Yeah, Nero just mutters. He's like, yeah, I'm sure she was. Very odd. All right, well, that was a little bit more ruthless. I mean, I would have just killed them, but, you know, waste not, want not. The Lord Captain likes all of his toys. All right, well, I'm done threatening you now. Actually, I'm a little tired, so I'm going to go sleep on the shuttle. Later, man.
Why waste a good spine?
Yeah.
Peace out.
Nero gets on the shuttle. It just like falls asleep on the shuttle, waiting for everybody else to show up. I assume that there's like a suit bag with all of the clothes he's supposed to change into before he steps off the shuttle.
I mean, Pierre probably has like a like his own personal fitting team to make sure Nero is like 100% appropriate.
There's like a valet waiting on the shuttle for you for when you need to go.
Yeah.
So,
Pierre's already there, getting ready. He's got like a stack of books, some other stuff he's going to pretty much school you in proper etiquette the entire way down.
How much time do we have before we have to get on the shuttle?
How much time do you want? I mean, you're moving at your leisure because the Queen said she'll see you when you're able to arrive.
So I would like to ask Thorn to come with me for a moment.
Very well.
So we'll enter into like some chamber or something like that, and I'll basically say, okay, there is not so much like a hazing that we put new retinue members under, but it's more of like I need to be aware of what you're personally capable of. So please remove your regalia. I'm going to beat the shit out of you for the next 10 minutes.
Wow, you like this? Very well.
This is season 2 Dawn. Yeah. This is season 2 Dawn.
Basically, take off his like dress uniform that he was wearing to meet the captain,
So Dawn is wearing her like robes, like her basically like her clergy robes, and she'll take them off. But underneath, she's basically wearing like a I don't what do you the under armor? Do they have like an under armor equivalent in this world or something like that?
Like a bodysuit.
Yeah, something like that. But her hands are like completely bandaged up to like up to her bicep sort of thing. And she'll start stretching out, and she doesn't take the habit off, but she leaves that on when she does this. So.
Sure.
And basically, Mr. Thorne, we are in need of competent people who can add to the entourage of the Lord Captain.
I understand.
And these entourage members need to be completely capable of defending themselves and the Lord Captain at the same time. Now, I am understand that you are born on a ship, raised on a ship. I have severe problems with looking at you and understanding your capabilities. So in order to do that, I need to basically make sure that you are capable enough to at least withstand someone of my caliber, let alone someone of a lesser caliber. Do you understand?
I understand. I did graduate in the top quarter of my class in both marksmanship and fencing from the Naval Academy on Scintilla.
Ooh, listen to this fucking fancy man.
Yeah, and it's like, that doesn't mean anything.
It says a member of the crew nearby.
From fencing to chainsword, that's a hell of a leap.
It's actually just Wally. Anytime we make meta comments, it's just Wally. That's his new purpose.
Will we be unarmed?
Of course. I only wish to ply my trade against you. I'm not actually going to harm you much. Unless you are going to be of a softer quality, in which case you will probably be harmed.
So he takes the belt with his weapons off and sets it to the side and starts like warming up and like stretching and stuff.
And since we are going to meet royalty, I would suggest that I'm going to leave your face alone. And I would suggest that you do the same.
I will do so.
All right. Ground rules set. You basically just scream uncle when you're ready to give up.
So, do you guys actually want to roll this out, or should I just narrate what is the likely outcomes based upon the stats involved?
I think just the stats involved would be more than enough. I don't think we need to roll here.
So as we watch this melee, so what Adrian has on his side is his speed and his outright skill. Like, he probably is actually a better combatant in terms of ability to avoid blows and land blows. What he lacks compared to Dawn is the strength and toughness as such. So effectively, he avoids most of her blows and is able to like land a few blows, but not in a telling way as such. Like, Dawn's able to shrug most of the damage off, and likewise, on the few times that Dawn does land a blow, it stymies a bit more. The other thing is that because he's used to being on a ship, like ships have like little changes in gravity associated with moving between different grav plates, he is more accustomed to moving about the environment in a ship in a way that he utilizes even on a very minor scale. So it's one thing to say that he probably gives Dawn a bit of run around on a ship. Whether or not that also happens on the ground is probably another question. It's just he's used to shipboard fighting and how that adjusts the way you move and act. So it probably comes out to a bit of a stalemate insofar as neither person's going to really beat the other person unconscious. It probably what it comes down, I think, is whether Dawn gets angry at missing or being hit with ineffective, or not ineffective, but not very effective blows. Because if she figures her anger, it'll probably come to more of a bigger shot, or whether they just accept that it's a stalemate.
So season 2 Dawn is very quick to anger, actually. And that's another good point you bring up, because I imagine the stars would be like, he's like maybe Thorn has a more measured, like by the book sort of fighting style, but Dawn is more like ferocious, like sort of like almost jumping onto you and trying to beat the shit out of you sort of thing. Like probably like not so much biting, but like if there was like a an unmartial fighting style, you know?
Like does she, well, no, because she did specifically say she was going to leave his face alone, but like
Yeah, so what I'm imagining is at some point or other,
eyes aren't part of the face.
at some point or other,
You can wear sunglasses.
Adrian gets tripped. He falls backwards, and like his first instinct from learning to fight in the Navy is when you're doing these sort of things is you let your opponent stand up again, and like in the moment he takes a sort of like go to just stand normally, Dawn is like on him and ground pounding, but not necessarily
Elbows on the throat,
Um,
sort of thing, all that sort of stuff, right? She's very, very ferocious, I guess.
Yeah, so once he loses his movement advantage, it probably like Dawn's able to overpower him to a degree, but it took a long while. Like it really came down to that lucky blow that knocked him off his feet to take that away from him. But Dawn's got like a bunch of small bruises all over her body from like more sort of measured blows, like knife hand strikes to shoulders, that sort of stuff, or you've each probably taken like say 2 levels of fatigue.
Yeah,
that'll go away by the time any other rolls are required. So
yeah. I also so you're like a Wookiee doctor sort of fighting style, where you know, I can see the blood moving through your body. I'm going to key strike it. And Donna's like, I'm gonna bite your ear off.
yeah.
All right, so unless anyone wants anything else in the ship, we're going to go ahead to taking the shuttle down to the
Tell
surface.
me, James, what does Nero look like?
Well, I was going to say it's so.
No,
Austin Powers.
You're the one.
Powers.
All right, no,
No,
I'll double sideways. Pondo, what does Nero look like?
So
You're the one trying to sell him.
So essentially, Nero has a man version of a corset on,
Nice.
which is
does
helping
what?
keep his posture up.
Gives him
Essentially a
the
big back
distinct
brace.
male hourglass figure that is so desirable in the 40K universe.
What
You
the
have
fuck?
like the frilly sleeves coming out from underneath your
puffy
coat.
pirate sleeves.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Everything is-
I'm gonna post in Discord chat how Dawn would dress you, and then you can decide whether
Okay.
you want to change up. Or not.
I'm so much more worried about this.
Okay, so I've put it
some
into
some
the
level of
class chat.
velour.
That's not bad. I mean, in a obvious male stripper kind of way.
So very Nilfgaardian. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I can get down.
I mean, what I envision is relatively close to that, except
Yeah,
it's
I'll
probably
take
like
it.
a longer cloak, poofier, like the sleeves with poofy sleeves.
Okay, yeah. So we're talking like a velvet doublet over like poofy sleeves, poofy pants.
Yeah.
Okay,
Everything on
Like a
black.
longer shirt tail, jacket tail.
but probably still with like a sword and pistol belt though. Like, does Nero even own a pistol?
No.
I can lend you a pistol.
He
I
has,
have plenty.
he has 2 storm bolters if you want to have him. They're basic weapons.
I would have Nero get like even like a primitive saber or something.
No, he
Actually,
has,
I have to.
He has a
I would
sword.
give. Oh yeah.
He has a good
I
monoblade.
would lend you a pistol as well. Like
Okay. I mean, he's incredible with guns, so when you give it to him, he of course does like some sort of fancy holstering trick.
Yeah.
Murphy, it's you.
Now remember, if
also
your
like-
back's not hurting, you're not standing.
It's you.
Now, Nero, remember, if your back's not hurting, that means you're not standing correctly.
Lord Captain, you're aware that I was a member of the Acadian White Shields, and then the Imperial Guard, and then the Imperial Navy for most of my life. Standing and doing nothing is a treasure of duty, which we rarely are given.
Gut in,
Excellent.
back out, chest forward, neck back. Conform to the dignitary S style of the spine, please.
He would have like the sleeves tailored to show off his massive guns. Because he seems to be so proud of that nowadays.
It's like the front of the bicep is exposed, but the back has frills on it. You know, like it's like bicep cleavage, right?
Like they had to essentially cut the sleeve around the biceps to expand
So that he
it
can-
and sew back on.
It's a bicep window.
Yeah. Well, no.
Like
Is
those
Nero-
yoga pants that have the slashes in them.
Is Nero getting to the size where he can't like drink properly because his biceps stops
No,
his
he's
arm
still
from
good.
reaching his mouth?
No, he's not that. Space Marines can still drink. So just imagine he's like a shorter Space Marine.
So
Nero's gonna turn towards Adrian and say, "Did she beat the shit out of you yet?"
She attempted to, yes.
I think you'll find that while your service in the Imperial Navy might have prepared you for standard doctrine, around here we're somewhat more freewheeling.
I can tell.
So Dawn will walk in, looking a little flustered, and she'll say, "He's fine, Nero. He will do."
Good. As soon as
That's
Cade's
weird.
on board, we're going to take off.
This is a different side of Dawn I haven't seen.
Yep. So Miriam comes on board along with her Peck, who's carrying a bunch of data slates for her, and then Cade comes on board as well.
All right, so I'm going to set Cade as far away from everyone else as possible. And I'm just going to be like, try not to irritate everyone with your presence. I have an
Wait, he was
important
a
job for you
child
on
before.
planet.
Nero, if I will make a suggestion. Perhaps Cade should stay on the Hand of Calixis.
I need him, Lord Captain. As you can see, I've brought the thrice-locked chest of Nero the Blade.
You don't need that.
It is filled with Pierre Cowles merchandise.
Oh boy.
Cade will be on the docks selling all of it.
I meant to say as well, by the way, that when Adrian went to his to find his berth as well, there was like a pile of T-shirts folded on the end of his cot with different slogans.
I love the Lord Captain. The God Emperor is my co-pilot.
But I also love the idea that there's like various sizes of each one because we weren't sure
Yeah.
on what size you would be. So
All right, Adrian,
yeah.
kick the shuttle out.
So you take it down to the surface. So you can tell by the way when this kid K comes in, you don't like. He's got that face you don't like straight away. You know, it's something about the kid just puts you off.
Yeah.
So overflying this planet, it appears to be mostly snow covered, although it has these sort of deep rents in the surface where these massive open cut mines have been formed. So further down in the sort of open mine, you can see where the workers toil to mine on the surface, or there are probably some underground mines as well. But this whole world seems to be built around the economy of mining, and the surface is quite cold. You're directed to the main city, Gorgonid Prime, and given a landing place to come in. Waiting for you on the landing platform are 3 men who are wearing some sort of military uniform that appears to be armor made of. In fact, it looks like stained glass armor. So think about like colored glass pieces with flexible lining in place of the lead lining, allowing the sheets to sort of move and flex. They carry long spear weapons that seem to have some sort of integrated las weapon as well. So the top of the spear is like a bardiche blade, but made out of shaved glass to have that razor edge of glass, but then also having a las rifle or something along those lines built along the heft of the blade so that you could also fire in the direction the blade was pointing. So their armor looks highly ceremonial. They're also wearing furs because as soon as the ramp comes down, you feel like the biting cold of the outside air. Ambient, it's like 40 Fahrenheit, so it's cold, but it's not dangerously cold. It's uncomfortably cold, basically. And they wait for you to come down.
Nero has been educating himself in High Gothic. He's been preparing for this moment for months, and so he does a decent cape frilling as he marches down.
is it like a single shoulder cape?
Oh yeah, I'm thinking like Roman senator style.
Oh yes.
Yeah. You're muted, Bondo.
Either way, Pierre's just going to think to himself, needs work.
Sorry, I didn't spend my whole life doing cape stuff. I was fighting for the Imperium on the battlefield.
I love the idea that the way down, Dawn is just sitting there, just like going, "Oh my god!" And the Lord Captain's just like, "Okay, flick, release, flick, release. It's all in the wrist. You know, you just gotta."
And occasionally he like whacks you to certain spots to fix your posture with his cane.
With like a cane. Yeah.
He has the cane with him all the time.
Yeah. Nearby, we also see other like transport shuttles landing and like big, like fluid, like so, the big drum style liquid containers being brought up to be loaded onto the shuttles and the lifter platforms to be taken up to the ship. The lead guard steps towards Nero since Nero walked down first. He gives you a salute with his free hand. I am High Scourge Hipplian. I am here to escort you to meet with Queen Lacrima.
High Scourge Hipplian?
Yes.
Excellent.
I will gesture and say, I am Nero Julius Augustus Bullet, Master of Ordnance of the Hand of Calixis. May I present Lord Commodore Pierre Cowles.
They bow. That's a hold their stance, hold their spears and bow before you. Is anyone carrying, by the way, like anything more than a pistol and a melee? Is anyone carrying like a two-handed, like a basic weapon at all? Because they might take on.
What do you mean, like a basic weapon?
Like carrying like a rifle, you know?
Does the power sword count?
No, because the power sword is like sheathed. Well, it's like it's hung at your belt. So unless you're like walking around the whole time, you know, in a high guard stance.
Friendly people.
I think Pierre only have his his bolt cane and his Architect blast pistol.
Yep. Okay. They don't
and
have
his
any
Brandolier and his several grenades and
he's
that
leaving
one grenade that the Space Marine has, but you know, it's just like takes up his entire body.
The pineapple grenade.
It's like attached to like the end of his pimp cane, so it's like a flail.
Nero's gonna have Kate come down and then have a quick conversation with him and just be like, now, this is a port. You need to learn to meet with people and sell things. Based on your nature, everyone hates you immediately. They all hate you. I dislike standing near you. You need to overcome that. You need to become likable, Cade. And that is why your mission on planet is to sell all of these t-shirts to the locals. The buttons, the pins, everything. Learn how to communicate with people.
By the way, is he like angsty teen size now? Like,
Yeah.
how big is Cade?
3. He's my kids grow like maybe 2 inches in a year, so he's maybe half an inch taller than he was when we last saw him.
Space has like stretched him out. So
Yeah, I was
now
gonna say
like-
he's still been working out every day, and now Nero's working out more, so he's probably
He's actually probably a different actor to previously, because you know how kid actors they never keep them the same between seasons. They always,
Hey,
like,
look, Stranger Things, man, they did a good job.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
yeah, that's
do a
because
serious
those
time skip,
kids.
though.
That's because those kids are growing with the TV show. It's different. It's
Yeah.
like imagine the difference between Harry Potter 1 and Harry Potter like 6, right? Like
Yeah. And likewise, he's like a 13-year-old being played by like a 19-year-old actor.
No, please, no. We could be a higher production than this.
like we had to get like a female to come in and play him now because his size was just too big. Yeah.
That's right. So that he heads off to do that as he's instructed. These guards take you to like a conveyance, some sort of like a tracked vehicle, like a half track, which is warmer inside as well. But it's like, I wouldn't say it's made for comfort. It's just made for utilitarian purpose. It's more like a troop transport. But
So it seems like lower quality than like a Camaro or a kind of vehicle you would expect.
yeah, that, to an extent, yeah. Like,
Okay.
and you like this place, you don't see real ostentatious displays of wealth about this city. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say, what
looks
kind of
like-
weapons do these guys have?
So they have spears with built-in las rifles.
That's okay. Yeah,
Yep.
that's not terrible.
Wait, it's a spear with a gun built into it, not a gun with a spear built into it?
No, so it's like a long spear, but then there's like a gun built into the haft, so you can sort of hold up and point. Like, think of like the like the weapons that they have in Stargate, you know, the a spear which shoots.
Okay, because for some reason in my mind I was thinking of like it's a spare gun, but it's also a normal gun.
So it's essentially like how my bolt cane is. There's like a literal pistol at one part of the cane.
Yeah.
To reach over.
If I remember, are these like las lances, like the Talon riders used to?
No. This is literally it's just had like the guts of a regular las rifle pulled out and attached to the haft.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, it's more a case of these are ceremonial weapons, but they at least have some offensive capability in case they did actually need to use them. You know, so because you also see other of the guards around who are wearing slightly less ceremonial armor. And they tend to carry swords, las rifles over their shoulders, and shields like combat shields made of that same sort of glass material.
Okay.
Yeah. But these men are like in the dress uniform, basically the dress armor. So yeah, you've been to lots of Imperial worlds. This place it reminds you a bit of Cadia, Arthur, in that it doesn't really have like you can see there's an area where like the leadership class live, but it's not like towers of gold and you know and spires of jewels. You know, it's like it's a utilitarian world. And yes, there is a nicer utilitarian part, but it is still it has that sort of homely feel to you in that respect.
It does. Nero's just like nodding. He's like, wow. If it wasn't so freezing and everyone was wearing fancy man armor, it might almost be good.
Come on, your bulging biceps can keep you warm, Nero. At least they'll have some functional use, right?
Nero just turns to give her a flat look. Like, he's just like, too soon.
So they take you into the main building, and it's still like, even though it's heated in here, it's still that little bit colder than you would expect normally. Like they don't heat it up to mid 70s. It's more like it's heated up to like low 60s. So for people that are used to a more climate controlled environment, it's still on that slightly chill side of cold. There are more guards in here. Once again, ceremonial armor, and you're taken to like an audience chamber. So there is another Sister Famulus here wearing garb and robes of the same order as Sister Miriam, who you're guessing is probably the Famulus representative for the Queen. And one of the guards announces, presenting Queen Lacrima III, and large doors at the other end of the chamber open up, and out walks a woman. She would appear to be in her early 40s. To modern standards, she is extremely slight. So she almost has an anorexic frame about her, and when she walks, her bulk her size has been bulked up by like ridiculously large shoulders on her gown, which then have like a draping cloak with like a seafoam style white train. She has like one of those sort of like tall Russian woolen caps, that like add an extra 1.5 feet to her height.
We're playing Dawn of War, and she's playing World of Warcraft. She has a cyber eagle on one shoulder. The bodice of her gown is made out of opaque cut glass, once again framed into various pieces that give her a shapely sort of torso. But you're guessing is that probably beneath that she's quite frail. She's attractive, but sallow. Like her features are a bit sunken, like she's suffering from malnutrition. She walks with a cane, which she holds in gloved hands, and she has hanging like almost like a skirt from her bodice is like lines of parchment with like similar to purity seals, but effectively she has a skirt made up of overlapping layers of parchment with various writing on there as well. And she walks towards your group, looking sort of expectantly between probably Pierre and Nero, as though trying to size up which one is likely the person that she's actually here to meet. Nero will announce the Lord Commodore.
She walks towards you. Lord Commodore. Pierre Cowles, I understand.
Indeed.
Yes.
And you're the lovely queen.
She takes a glove off and offers you an ungloved hand.
He will shake.
Okay.
The ungloved. He will probably
sorry,
take his own hand glove off and then shake.
Yeah. So she's holding it up to you like wrist up rather than out like to shake. So the intent is for you to kiss her hand, although if you take a shake hand, it could be
so he'll do that out of respect.
Okay, no worries.
And now you kiss mine.
And she puts her glove back on. This must be Mr. Bullet?
Yes, this is Nero Augustus Blade.
That's
the Bullet.
That's not. Nero is fucking shook. He's just like, I've known this man for like 8 months, and he just butchered my name in front of.
Dawn just like covers her mouth a little bit and is just like
apologies.
She gives you a very critical look, like she's looking you over. Like you get the impression she wants to sort of like reach out and like move your head from side to side, but she's maintaining some decorum.
No, Nero will allow for it.
like looking at the cattle,
his body language is open to that.
Yeah.
Listen, Pierre has already said that he's basically trying to sell Nero, so...
I got to that point. I was going to have a conversation with you what you wanted out of this, but...
her eye line's only just below your eye line because she clearly has you can tell from the shape that she's got high heel boots as well to give her some height as well. Everything about her style is to increase her overall sort of size and demeanor. Otherwise, she looks to be like a frail lady. You have the most startling eyes, Mr. Bullet. That's a feature of your people, isn't it?
Yes.
Not? Yes. Yes, you are quite common, and from a world notoriously afflicted by the warp. But my sister Famulus here tells me that you have, the blood of greatness.
Oh,
that is what interests me.
He does indeed have the blood of greatness. Let me tell you, this man is not at all slightly common. This man here stood against an Astartes, man to man, and lived. It severely injured the Astartes, and lived.
Why were you fighting an Astartes?
It was a traitor Astartes that tried to kill me. But Nero was there to stand in the way.
All of this is technically true in a sort of galactic sense.
I didn't know we still had traitor Astartes. Yeah, interesting.
Just like that, the Lord Captain has doomed the world.
Yes. We shouldn't have this conversation standing up here. Allow me to invite you to a meal.
Absolutely.
Nero nods because there's nothing he likes better than the ability to have breakfast.
All right.
So I like the idea that as we're walking along, Dawn will go to Nero's side and just be like, remember, it's best to not eat everything. You want to appear like you're not trying to eat ravenously like you normally do.
So in the background, you can see that Miriam and this other sister are exchanging data slates and reviewing information, showing off data back and forth. You're taken into a dining room.
From the outside in, Nero. Remember, the utensils on the outside are supposed to be used first, not the inside.
That I've dined with the Lord Commodore before, right?
I just want to make sure that
often,
you understand.
On a regular basis.
Look, you're not going to get many opportunities to sell your seed like this, so impressions are important, Nero. Remember to wipe your mouth.
Large, impressive table spread of food. It's clearly all imported. There's obviously, you didn't see any animals when you're coming onto this world, for example. So it looks like they've imported a lot of very nice foods. Once again, like glass features as all the plates are glass rather than ceramic, for example. It is definitely like an aesthetic of this kingdom that that wealth is shown through colored glass more than through precious metals. And she offers you all a seat, and effectively, like, servants come out, and they're effectively dishing up. Like, you tell them, it's like a smorgasbord, but you tell them what you want, and they dish the food onto your plate for you. So, that being said, the Queen doesn't seem to take a meal. Or if she does, she has, like, someone comes along and hands her like a cup of pills, which she,
So let me ask you something real quickly here. Is there like a roll I can make on this or something that will allow me to understand what the proper etiquette on, like, the meal here is? Or something along those lines?
So, I mean, common law Imperium.
Because I have etiquette as a thing.
Oh, as a background trait, don't you? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So you don't need a roll. I mean, at the end of the day, effectively, that there is no restriction here. You are able to eat as. It's just they have their own little weird things about this world, but you're not going to offend anybody by having some of the meal. I mean, in case anyone was concerned, you can tell through scrutiny without a roll required. She's not trying to poison you.
No, I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about, like, for example, if she doesn't eat much and then she watches other people eat a lot, if she's going to be offended or something.
No, you just get the impression. I mean, like, since she looks malnourished, you don't get the impression she eats much at all.
It's like, really? You're going to eat that, Nero?
Is there...
What a glutton. I'm over here having a glass of water and he's eating a stick of leg meat. Unbelievable.
Is I was saying, is there a way to see if maybe this sort of diet that she's doing to herself is either self-done or due to some sort of maybe sickness?
Probably a mixture of both.
Okay.
Yeah. Dawn, you can give me a Medicaid roll at -10 if you like.
Okay. This is without first aid kit, obviously.
That's right, yep.
Take out a first aid kit.
Wow. With that roll, I think I'm going to re-roll it. I think.
Okay.
Takes out a med kit. So just like,
tricorder.
Hold on, Queen. I just need to inspect your body.
She taps her Starfleet badge.
Okay. I mean, like, apparently this is the first time I'm going to fail Medicaid roll. So.
After you were gloating about how good you were at it.
I was gonna,
It's to
yeah,
not
it's the
heal
bag.
somebody, so.
Yeah, it's the bag.
Now it's the glass. I see my reflection in it. It's just like,
Now, as you're eating, she starts speaking. Now, I'm sure that, Lord Commodore, you'll wish to speak about the business at hand. But first, I wanted to ask Mr. Bullet some questions, if I may.
Please.
Mr. Bullet, what is it that you would like out of this transaction?
At its most basic level, this transaction is agreeable to me. However, if there could be something more added to it, I would also be in appreciation. The ability to come to this wonderful world and see how my spawn is progressing, perhaps to have some hand in it. I understand that the Lord Commodore has several concerns that he wishes to present to you, so I will pass the microphone to him, as it were, the vox to him, as it were.
Well, let me tell you my angle first.
Very well.
I am not overly long for this world. I know that my time will come sooner rather than later, and two things bother me. One is that I have not left behind an heir to my kingdom, so to speak. And secondly is that I have not made a significant mark on this world or upon the Imperium at large. It would be a simple matter for me to have a child, but to have a child destined for greatness is what I truly seek. If I cannot leave my mark, then I wish to leave one who will.
It's a very
and that is
commendable
why-
spirit.
Please don't interrupt. And that is why I have sought this arrangement. My intent here is, upon the birth of the child, that I will abdicate my role to the child immediately, but remain on as regent, so to speak. If the child comes of age before I die, then the child may take over governorship of this planet and will be responsible for all the manners and tides therein. But I don't think it will come to that. I would intend initially to have the child educated off-world. There are not schools suitable for a noble on Sephiroth Secundus. This is a harsh world. But they would be equipped with all they need to have in order to lead such a world. In the interest of protecting the child's nobility, I would elevate you, Mr. Bullet, to the position of a position of nobility of Sephiroth Secundus. You would have a barony and a fiefdom and the incomes that provides. I would not expect you, of course, to remain in this world and administer it. I would appoint an administrator to that effect, but you would still be allowed to collect the income of your serfs as long as you pay your relevant tithes to the crown, thus establishing the child as a child of nobility and removing any question of future progression.
Nero
Do you have any questions of what I have described?
Nero turns to look at the Lord Captain, because I guess this is his time to turn Nero into a breeding machine, apparently.
I think it's just the issues. Like Pierre's been listening intently, trying to figure out as far as why is she wanting the exclusivity of this, and as she's speaking, as in wanting to make a mark, someone to make a mark into the Imperium. He's kind of understanding why. I just wish to know what sort of land or what sort of, essentially, what will he be a baron of?
So each fief on Sephiroth Secundus is a single mine. This is a tiered feudal society of serfs, lower nobles, moderate, middle nobles, and high nobles. Master Bullet would be in a high noble position and thus be a lord over lords. Every miner on Sephiroth Secundus collects their tithe, of which they are allowed. Their needs are taken care of by their lords. So they are fed, they are provided food and lodging, and all that is requested is that they toil. They are entitled to keep 1/10 of everything they earn. The other 9/10 are given up to their lord, who then keeps 1/10 of all he earns, pass up 9/10, and so on until the final tithe to the crown, which then serves as the planetary tithe to the sector government. So he would be responsible for a mining operation, an already existing business, so to speak, which was already being administered as it stands right now. He would simply become the lord of that administrator. He would collect 9/10 of all those that below him create, but then of that he would pass 9/10 on to myself, retaining the 1/10 for himself.
Okay. Is there a way to have it to where he keeps 2/10 of it to himself?
Nero looks shocked that you would break the chain of imperial custody.
Unfortunately, that's not possible for two reasons. One is that it is the laws of this world as they were set down by Lord Angevin himself, that the tithe is 1/10, or 9/10. Secondly, to do that would mean that the world could not meet its imperial quota, and therefore we would soon have the arbitres involved.
Of course. What is the main resource of this world? Or is it just several different metals?
Yeah, or basically, or.
Okay.
Yeah. We also export our mirror shields.
Mirror shields. What's a mirror shield? Yes. That sounds so familiar. Like I just looked at it.
It's a physical shield that is just more effective against las weaponry.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about this? How about if we could establish a trade between? Do you have a house, a rogue trader house that ships for you?
No, we rely upon the sector's transportation. We primarily import food from the other agri-worlds in the sector. This planet is not capable of growing significant enough foods to maintain our 12 million population.
I'm just going to point out, out of character,
So 12 billion population.
This is inside the Imperium, so rogue traders really don't normally operate here.
Okay, that's fair.
You're going to get with something like a Chartist captain, right?
Yes, it's like Pierre's just trying to see that way you can get a profit off this, because I doubt that she's going to give on the loss of exclusivity. How about this? Why is it that you wish to keep the exclusivity of Nero?
Mainly to protect the child from potentially being usurped by another sibling. I don't want to create an environment of conflict. I mean, allow me to be clear. Once the child is of age and can look after their own situation, it's only an 18-year exclusivity.
That's still a lot of 18.
Nero turns to look at the Lord Captain and says, I don't even know if I'll be alive in 18 years. I don't know if I'll be alive in 18 hours.
When you reach my age, 18 years is a very short time.
Indeed. How about what if we signed a contract saying that any other siblings of your child between you and Nero will be not allowed to take the throne of this planet?
I could establish Mr. Bullet's nobility in such a way that it does not pass to any except his eldest heir. I would need some evidence from Mr. Bullet that he has no elder children already in existence.
Such evidence could be provided insofar as one can prove a negative.
Yes, I'll have to take your word on this, but I don't believe that people with your genetic disposition are prone to lying to true servants of the Emperor.
Wow. Nero is deeply honored when she says that. He says, yes. Very wise.
I want to point out, by the way, that Dawn is sitting at the other side of the table, like scarlet red, basically, because this is essentially what like the Sisters of the Abbey of the Dawn like uses essentially smut, right? Just like looking through like family histories and shit like that, right? So the fact that they're talking about this like openly at this table is literally just like reading like through the family trees and everyone being like, oh my God, unbelievable. Can you believe that man married that woman? Unbelievable.
Yeah, right.
Look at all the begatting that is happening.
That's right. Yeah. Nero is now the Fabio of Dawn's fiction.
He gets spray painted on the side of a van.
So, irregardless of whether if he even has any sort of heirs of his own,
I don't.
They wouldn't really qualify to be ruler of your planet, as in they're not of your blood.
No, Mr. Nero would have to agree that his nobility only extends to our child and not to any other children of his.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Your decision is just and wise. I look forward to the transfer, my queen.
You don't have hard bargain,
Word
do you?
of trans-
You can buy that now, but you haven't bought it yet.
I had to wait till I get 500 XP. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, me too. Bulging biceps. Yeah, you know, we're working on it, brother.
So
That
this
the word transfer was like the final nail in the coffin for Dawn, and she just
Don just like shatters a glass.
Are you okay, Don? You seem a bit flustered.
I am quite all right, Lord Captain. Please continue.
Oh,
She's, like,
absolutely.
biting a napkin.
So you're, and of course, Mr. Nero, as a well, should I say Baron Nero, as a noble of this world, you will be, of course, entitled to visit your child. I don't seek to deprive the child of that, although I want to make sure that you have a duty that you are still fulfilling to your lord.
Yes.
So far as your lord allows you to attend here or attend where your child is being educated, that is something that I will allow.
I was deeply honored when I asked for shore leave, and the Lord Commodore decided to come in person and bring the whole ship. It was Nero like actually tears up. He is so moved that the Lord Commodore would come here in person to sell him.
Well, he has also bought a substantial quantity of meltwater as well. So
He is wise and profitable.
And if I could probably propose another offer that may not even be possible in the future, is if you and Nero would have a second heir together, perhaps your second heir could come along into my ship, my vessels. That way you can learn from me and learn different mercantile offerings.
are you a parent, Lord Commodore?
I am not, unfortunately.
No, well,
I suffer from the same situation that you do. I do not have an heir.
from what I understand, most parents are focused on one child at a time. Let's worry about the next progeny when the current one is healthy and well and growing.
Of course.
Very well. Well, I'm afraid I must rest. This has taken a lot out of me. I will allow what's his name? Sister Alicia here to finalize the details and collect what is required.
Of course, my queen.
Right.
All right, so Nero approaches Miriam.
Everything went well then?
Yes. I remember the procedure when you told me about it, and it's time, Miriam.
Yes.
It's time. He
We have
starts
this.
immediately sweating.
We have this. We have this doorway here beyond which there are no cameras. You should come this way. Nobody in the audience wants to see this.
Yeah. Nero walks through the door, and the last thing we hear is, "I don't even want to see this."
The last thing we hear is, "Okay, Nero, assume the position."
I think it's a good plan to take a break.
Yeah, it does seem like a good time to take a break. We'll be back for the second half shortly, I guess. Nero has been sold successfully.